Storage I/O control is a new feature in vSphere 4.1 that enables us to manage storage performance for virtual machines using a shared data store. In this demo, we have 3 virtual machines. VM1 and VM2 are running on the same ESX host, while VM3 is running by itself on a separate ESX host. You will notice that although all the virtual machines have equal shares on the data store, the performance they get is not equal. VM1 and VM2 are sharing the storage performance on the same ESX host, getting around 25% of the total storage performance each, whereas VM3, that is running by itself on a separate ESX host, is getting 50% of the storage resources. The storage performance is not getting fairly balanced across all the virtual machines. We can correct this imbalance and fairly distribute storage performance by enabling Storage I/O control. Storage I/O control uses a congestion threshold to determine whether to engage and actively begin balancing storage performance. By default, the Storage I/O control congestion threshold is 30 milliseconds, indicating that Storage I/O control will not engage until device latencies on the data store are greater than 30 milliseconds. For this demo, we will set it to 20 milliseconds and observe the result. Once Storage I/O control is enabled, we can see that it starts actively and fairly balancing storage performance across the virtual machines in the environment. With Storage I/O control, all the VMs have roughly equal storage performance, and VM3 no longer has an unfair advantage. Along with Storage I/O control, vSphere 1 introduces another storage management capability. New in vSphere 4.1 is the ability to set limits on the number of I/O operations per second a VM is able to issue. Virtual machines' IOP limits are configurable from the Resources tab of the Virtual Machines Properties screen. In this demo, we will configure a limit of 100 IOPS for VM1. Notice that once the limit is set, VM1 is restricted to issuing only 100 I/O operations per second. By limiting VM1's access to storage resources, VM2 and VM3 are able to achieve better storage performance. Storage I/O control provides 2 metrics which are viewable in the Data Store Performance tab in vCenter. The Storage Normalized Latency and the Storage I/O Control Aggregate IOPS shows the performance of storage in terms of latency and number of IOPS being issued. We can see activity in the charts beginning when we enable Storage I/O control. Below, we can view the effects that Storage I/O control has on the individual ESX host in our environment. In the bottom left chart, we see the device latency per ESX host. Notice that the device latency is high before we start Storage I/O control, but is reduced once Storage I/O control is enabled. In the bottom right chart, we can view the individual ESX device queues. And notice how once enabled, Storage I/O control begins modifying the size of the device queues to fairly distribute storage performance to the various virtual machines. Storage I/O control maximizes your storage investments by enabling higher levels of virtual machine consolidation across your shared data stores. For more information, see the Storage I/O control Technical Overview and Considerations for Deployment white paper on the VMware.com website.